Explain the difference between Surya Shakti and Surya Kriya, and which one is more powerful. So this is something. Both are very different programs, Surya Kriya and Surya Shakti. So Surya Kriya is the original practice from which Surya Namaskar and Surya Shakti were derived. So these are the three main practices: Surya Kriya, Surya Namaskar, and Surya Shakti. You may have come across all three names before. So what Sadhguru says is the original practice is Surya Kriya, and from which the other practices were derived. So if you watch someone doing any of these practices, it looks all very similar actually. You won't be able to make out the difference unless you know the technicalities of it, because it looks very similar. They are all from the same family. So how it works is like what Sadhguru says is, if you're just looking for physical fitness and strength, if you're looking to build stamina, physical fitness, strength, if you're looking for an alternative to gymming, if you're just looking for a complete workout by itself, then Surya Shakti will do the job. It's more than enough for that. If you're looking for something, more than that, if you're looking for fitness, plus you're also looking for some spiritual element in it, and if you're looking for much more benefits, then Surya Namaskar can help, because that's something which can be helpful in that direction. But if you're looking for something which overall benefits, something which has a very strong spiritual connotation, and which can also take care of your health and well-being and fitness, etc., then Surya Kriya is something which you should learn, because this is like an all-round practice which has very deep spiritual connotations. So that is how the practices are structured. And generally we recommend that if someone is looking for spiritual growth, if someone is looking to go deep into this, then it's better used learn Surya Kriya, and see if you can practice that on a daily basis, because that is something which will be very, very helpful in that direction. And it's like a complete practice by itself. It is something which is a very subtle practice, so this is something we recommend. And along with that, if physical fitness is something which you want to take care of, and if you can spend some time, if you would really like to build yourself up physically, then we also suggest to learn Surya Shakti along with it. So when we went through the training, the Hatha Yoga teachers training, we learned both these practices, Surya Shakti and Surya Kriya as well. We started with Surya Kriya, and we established that practice, and then we also learned Surya Shakti. So we were encouraged to practice both on a daily basis. So we were always told that the priority is Surya Kriya, because that's something, since we are spiritual seekers, we would want to establish that firmly. So we were always told to give the priority to Surya Kriya. And whenever and if we wish to scale up in terms of our physical strength, energy levels, etc., then to also practice Surya Shakti along with it. So we were practicing both on a daily basis during our training program. So you can choose what you wish to do. Personally, for me, I was not doing much of Surya Shaktis earlier. Surya Kriya I've been doing from many years. So it's been almost more than, I would say, more than 7 years, I think, I've been practicing Surya Kriya. And Surya Shakti also I had learned, but I was not practicing much of it earlier. I used to do only a few cycles here and there, and I never attempted to make Surya Shakti or to scale it up a lot. And it's only recently, if you have been following our videos, I actually experimented with Surya Shakti, because I wanted to see if, especially during the lockdown, when there was hardly any scope to go outside, and we were all locked up in our homes, and we were wondering how we can do something, physically exerting as well. So that's when I thought that I should start with Surya Shakti and try to scale it up. So this is something which I just took as a challenge of trying to see how I can scale up Surya Shakti. So I just started with 12, and currently I'm doing 120 cycles, on an alternate day basis. So this is how I've been doing. So till recently, till about a week before, I was doing daily, And after I came back from the ashram and I did finish the Velingri trek, then I started doing this on an alternate day basis. So I just wanted to scale it up and see how it goes. So for me, it has made a phenomenal difference. So that is why I have been speaking about it much. And I seen that when I was just doing about 12 to 20, 21 cycles or something, it wasn't making that much of a difference. But when I scaled it up to this level, it has made a phenomenal difference. So if you're someone who looking for an alternative to gymming, or if you're just looking for an alternative to outdoor outdoor exercise, or you are looking for an intense workout, then I would suggest you do Surya Shakti. You take it up and see how you can scale it up, and you can see how you Sadhguru says if you can reach 108 cycles and do this daily, you don't need any other exercise. Whatever is needed for you in terms of physical exercise, this is more than enough. There's nothing else which is needed apart from it, if you're looking at physical exercise only, not looking at spiritual development. I'm just talking about spiritual, about the physical side. So if you're just looking at that, if you want to build muscle, if you want to build strength, if you want to build energy levels, so if you're looking for a complete workout, which is what I would say a majority of people in the world right now are looking for, so Surya Shakti would fit the bill very well in this regard. So I would suggest then you can take up Surya Shakti. Currently, Isha, they are not teaching Surya Namaskar. They are only teaching Surya Shakti or Surya Kriya. So Sadhguru has mentioned just these two practices are more than enough, and there is no need for Surya Namaskar. So he has suggested to learn both, to learn Surya Shakti and to learn Surya Kriya and practice both. And if you wish to take up, scale up physically, then you can do more number of cycles for Surya Shakti. You can take it up as a challenge, and slowly you can see how to scale it up. But it's very important you take the guidance of your Hatha Yoga teacher and do that. And also you learn these practices from a certified Hatha Yoga teacher and not online, because some of them have been irresponsible and they have uploaded their videos online, and a lot of them are seeing these videos online and they're trying to replicate it because they would have already learned some Surya Namaskar before from some video, and they feel, yeah, I know this, and they started doing that as well. So one thing I would like to warn you about is that, especially practices like this which are very powerful, if you do this incorrectly, it can also cause a lot of damage, especially if you try to do more number of cycles, and if you don't take enough care, if you don't do it correctly, you can cause damage to your spine. So we have seen a lot of people who, in the enthusiasm of trying to do things fast and scale up very rapidly, they have damaged themselves, especially the spinal region. This is something which can lead to injuries if one doesn't take care. So it's very important that you don't let your enthusiasm, you know, just make you take some wrong steps. So it's very important that you learn from a certified teacher, spend some time, and I know that it may take some investment and it may take some time, but it's definitely worthwhile the effort, because if you learn this from a right source and if you learn it in a committed atmosphere, you will see why it is so different from whatever you have learned before. Especially at Isha, when they teach something like Hatha Yoga, there's so much care which is taken in terms of how to do each posture, how so much attention is placed to precision. You will be surprised at that. Even after doing this practice for so many years, it's still, if I just get my practice checked, I'll find so many errors, because it's such a fine level of precision which is needed to align yourself with the cosmic geometry, and that is something which is very of utmost importance. So please learn only from the right source, don't learn it online. If it was available online, we would have done online programs, we would have made it online, just like we are doing the food program and in many other things, we would have made it online, just like the Upa Yoga videos. So if it is not online, then that's for a particular reason, because certain amount of care needs to be taken while imparting it. It needs to be done in a committed atmosphere. So please ensure you learn from the right source and only then do it. And if you're, as I said, if you're looking for physical fitness and strength, ideally you should learn both and practice both. If you don't have time, then you can see what is something which is a more pressing need for you. If physical fitness and strength is something which is more of a pressing need, then start with Surya Shakti. If spiritual development is more of a pressing need for you, then start with Surya Kriya, and then when you get time, add Surya Shakti as well. So I hope the difference is clear for all of you in terms of these practices. So please choose accordingly, whatever works for you. And there are other practices also which work similarly. For example, if you have learned Angamardana, that is also very much similar in terms of benefits to Surya Shakti, in terms of being a physical workout, in terms of building strength, muscle. So if you're practicing that, it's fine. You can continue with that. Whatever works for you. The idea is whichever practice you pick up, whether it's Angamardana or Surya Shakti, you should do it on a regular basis for you to see any benefit. If you are doing it on and off, if you're doing it once in a while or whenever you get time or once in few weeks, so if you're doing it like this, you won't see much difference actually. So as I was mentioning, only when I started doing it on a daily basis and started scaling up the number of cycles did I see a huge difference in terms of my energy levels, in terms of how I was throughout the day. So anything, if it's done in a committed way, and if it's done on a regular basis, only then you will see the difference. So whichever practice you take up, that is not that important. But the important thing is, are you doing it in a committed way? Are you taking it up in such a way that this becomes a part of your life? So please see how you can make that happen, and you will see that any practice, it's not the practice which transforms you, it's your involvement which is transforming. Just a simple practice, if you are fully involved in that, this itself can be transforming. So please see how you can make it. Someone's asking about the benefits of Yoga Namaskar. Yes, Yoga Namaskar also has similar benefits. So if you're not able to learn anything offline, you can start with Yoga Namaskar and try to scale it up. So that is also something which is like a complete exercise by itself. It has all round benefits. So this is something which is offered online as well. So if you're not able to learn Surya Shakti or Surya Kriya, you can even start with Yoga Namaskar. It's freely available online, and slowly see how to increase the number of cycles. That is also something which will keep your spine in a very good condition. But it is of utmost importance that you do something to keep your spine in a good condition on a daily basis. So something like classical Hatha Yoga, like Surya Shakti or Surya Kriya or Surya Namaskar or Yogasanas or Angamardana, these practices will help you in that direction because it keeps your spine in a good condition, which is of utmost importance for a person who's looking to grow on the spiritual path. Because your spine is the basis of perception, and if your spine is not kept in a good condition, you will see that in terms of your spiritual growth, it will be a difficult path. So it's important that whatever age you are, you can even start as young as 7 years. If you are above 7 years, if you have children above 7 years, they can start with Surya Shakti. We can teach them Surya Shakti. If they are above 14 years, we can teach them Surya Kriya as well. So if they are above 8 years, we can also teach them Angamardana. So please see if they can get started early if you have children at home, because keeping the spine in a good condition is very, very important. Okay. And also because most of us are hardly doing any physical activity nowadays, we are not so physically active. So at least doing something like this, doing something like Hatha Yoga will be very helpful in that direction. How do you find a Isha Hatha Yoga teacher in your city? So you can just Google for Isha Hatha Yoga teacher finder. If you just type that in Google, you will find a link, and then you can find your teacher closest to where you're staying. So that's something which you can easily find. Okay.